Well, welcome back to the shop. This is a rubber door molding from John Rose at Postal Jeep Parts. And there's a gas tank that isn't going to fit, but that's for another story. We're hoping that we can make this work today. So at least the door molding, I've never done it, but it can't be that difficult, right? Haha, famous last words. All right, well, I might put it on time lapse. And oh, and here's a half completed possible hood ornament, which could be fun to put on the front of this Jeep. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Well, that went in fairly easily. It's a hair short at the bottom, like an inch short at the bottom, which kind of is frustrating, but it went in without too much difficulty, and now I just have to reinstall some of the bracketing that I can't remember exactly where it comes from, and we'll go do the other one. Well, those went in a whole bunch better than I expected. So I have a problem with my turn signals wiring, and I'm wondering whether it has to do with having put in this new alternator with a single wire and some connection that hasn't been made properly now. But the door molding went in, seems to stay in just nicely. Thank you, John. Time to reattach these bump stop brackets and call it a day for the door mold. Well, welcome back to the shop. So until a few years ago, I wouldn't have known or cared about patina on a vehicle, but this Postal Jeep has just got this wonderful rust patina, and I'm going to preserve it. So I think I'm going to sand it down a little bit with some 3M abrasive cloth, and then I'm going to put some linseed oil and mineral spirit mixture on it, which I've seen other guys do, just to kind of protect it a little bit. So for now, we're going to just work on the hood. I'm going to put it on time lapse and we'll go from there. And of course, the more you dig into something like this, the more you have to accept that things like this, holes everywhere, need to either be seam sealed or properly filled in, and proper filling in and doing all the body work is well beyond the scope of what I want to do. So I think I'm going to just cover these with seam seal and let myself worry about fixing it up in the next life or next time we try and refurbish this thing. Anyway, large project. We'll see you in a while. I think this must have been some kind of Bondo. I should probably put a torch to it, but it seems to break apart. I'm not sure if it's some kind of metal filler, repair metal with metal. Maybe that's what Well, dang me, I didn't really want to go here, but if I'm going to seal it off from water, and since I live in the Pacific Northwest, you can count on lots of water. Right, well, we've got a little bit of seam sealing to do. I had told myself I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to touch this piece of rotten bodywork. Alright, well, good morning. Welcome back to the shop. We got some rust inhibitor, rust converter in this trough up here. That is the drip tray, I guess, around the roof of the Postal Jeep. So that's going to dry for a day or 20. And then we'll wait for the tubes of seam sealer to arrive, and we'll reseal these areas and hope that that prevents additional rusting. Well, welcome to the shop. New day, another new day. I've been putting a number of substances on. This would be one last application or one more application of rust inhibitor. I did rust inhibitor around the drip tray and around the front. I then put some primer on the front. Now I've got some seam sealer on this because it just requires it. Obviously there's things like this that could be seam sealed, could be worked on. There's no end to gaps that need to be sealed on this thing, and I have trouble sometimes stopping, but I think I'm going to go put the seam seal down the drip tray and then work on spray painting it a little bit later.